Hi guys, so yeah, I've recently got into Baron's War, and as usual, I get hooked so easily on these kind of awesome games. But the great thing about this one is it's set around 1215, and that's the same time the Templar Knights were about. I mean, these were about for a couple of hundred years. So yeah, as well as making a retinue of the Baron's War games sort of miniatures to come with it, I'm going to make a retinue up of, well, Templar Knights, just because I think they're so cool. And these are the ones that I've made. But obviously, I'm getting ahead of myself. These are what you're going to see me make print and paint. So stick around and see how I get on. So I found some awesome miniatures online, and these ones are by Reconquer Designs. Hope I said that right. I'll leave links down below to where you can go and find these out. They are on my mini factory. But as well as doing obviously the foot knights that you can see here, they do some other foot knights and they do some mounted knights, which is great because obviously I do want to have some mounted figures eventually when I play the game. Obviously, as yet, I haven't played it. I've only had the box for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But yeah, I am hooked on making, well, several retinues up. So I've taken just really like 9 or so here. But the detail on these is just awesome. You can see obviously the lovely chain mail they have there underneath their cloaks. And that's why I love these guys. They're like sort of priests, aren't they? I guess. But they're wielding shields, swords, and all that sort of stuff. So it kind of reminds me of paladins, which are the characters I love to play when playing D&D. So yeah, I'm putting these out on the Halo X1, which I must admit the last week has taken quite a bashing. As obviously, as well as printing out some miniatures, I am making up a full board. So I've been printing out a lot of terrain using the Halo X1. Again, guys, there'll be links down below to the printer that I'm using, where you can get the files, and anything else I really sort of talk about in this video. Yeah, links down below. So yeah, the Halo X1, lovely little machine. So this has been working almost non-stop for the last 7 days. So you will see some other videos coming up where I am sort of making the terrain pieces as well as the board. It's the first time I'm making up a big board like this. It's 4 foot by 3 foot, but I've split into 4 different sections, and each section is magnetized and all the rest of it. Again, there'll be a video coming up soon of that. But I say the Halo X1, yeah, I've been doing a lot of scenery, some trees and some walls, and basically everything I need to be able to start playing this game. I say I've only had it a couple of weeks. It's been my 3rd week by now, I guess. But absolutely hooked. Just love the era because it's obviously during the medieval times, and that's when, well, knights were about, which I absolutely love. And as well as say these Templar Knights, which printed out perfectly. Because these are quite small, I couldn't put them in my usual wash machine. Although I have since doing this brought little sort of wash bags. It's like little netted bags that I can put these in. So if I put these in my wash machine, they kind of, well, some of them fit through the gaps. Definitely the swords and the shields there, they will fit through the gaps of the cage that goes into the wash machine. So yeah, I've got these like little wash bags. I'll be doing them in. But say these guys, yeah, I'd put them in this little plastic container with some isopropyl alcohol just to give them a clean. Obviously, you can see still wearing gloves because they are still a bit, well, probably a bit toxic to fingers. And then yeah, stuck these outside. I have got a curing machine, but you don't really need one of them if it's sunny. So you can just stick these guys outside. The sun does the curing, obviously cleans them up nicely, and yeah, they're then ready to sort of to paint. So these guys, they come sort of pretty much assembled, as in the main body's there. You've just got to stick on the shield and the sword, which is pretty cool. But I thought rather than putting the shield on, I'm going to do the shield separately. And if you know me, normally I just glue everything together and then hope for the best when it comes to painting. But with these guys, yeah, I thought I would try and do it properly and do the shields separately, just to make it easier. So basing, yeah, I'm sticking with the usual basing that I'm going to do on all the miniatures. So it really is going to be nice and simple. A little bit of sand on the bottom, and then some tufts of grass and the rest. I'm sticking with the little metal discs as their bases, as they are nice and thin, only about 1 mm. But yeah, they got a bit of weight to them, which is nice and cool. So yeah, they were my little painting handles and batch painting. Because these guys are primarily white, I thought, well, I may as well sort of prime them in a white. So I'm going with white bone. It's like a little off-white. That's by the Colour Forge. Again, links down below. As yeah, this saves a lot of time, as these obviously, they're mainly cloaks are going to be white. So rather than priming them in black like I normally do, yeah, I've just gone for a good old prime in white because that's them, well, that's them half painted already. So there's only a few other colours to really sort of go on these. One being a bit of silver for obviously their swords and the chain mails that you can see. Say these are printed out awesomely, but I think they look great. So the detail in these is just amazing. So definitely go and check out Reconquer Designs, because obviously they do a whole variety of other sort of knights as well, or well, miniature figures, not just knights from the sort of same era though, which is pretty cool. And so they do the ones that are on horses as well, which is just great because yeah, I want to start painting some horses. I don't think I've ever painted horses. Obviously, lots of orcs, trolls, and weird and wonderful creatures. But good old plain horses, maybe not. So yeah, look forward to doing that. So say painting wise, yeah, these are these were lovely and simple to paint. Say priming them in that sort of off-white colour. Yeah, that was most of the job done. And then just a few other bits. Obviously, batch painting. Yeah, I love batch painting. I've got a video coming up soon as well where I paint the rest of the retinue from the Baron's War box set, and there's about 20 miniatures, and I batch paint them all in one go. So that video should be coming out in a few days' time because I've nearly finished them. Say I need to get 2 retinues done, so me and my mate can play, and me and my son because he wants to play the game as well. So shields, yeah, I say normally I don't ever do shields separately, but I thought I would this time. So I've stuck them to some double-sided tape to a bamboo stick. So the shields are, well, they're white with a red cross. So I had a cunning plan. You'll see how it turns out in a minute. But yeah, so the first thing is to do is to paint them red, and then do the white sort of around it to make the red cross. I'm not really explaining that very well. You'll see it in a second. But obviously, yeah, painted all the shields red, and then on the knights themselves, obviously they're meant to have the cross on their sort of chest as well. But some of them you can't really see too well because they're kind of covered up by their tunic, their cloak, whatever it's called. But again, it's like Templar Knights. These are something. It's really weird because since playing this game or getting this game, I've been watching and reading up so much around medieval times, around the 1200 or late 13th century or early 13th century even, just to sort of get more up to date on this, because I actually want to play this game as near and close to sort of being proper as I can, really, I guess. So yeah, thoroughly enjoying doing this. So that's them sort of done. You're going to do the skin, a little bit of pastel salmon here. I say very simple these guys because not a lot of colour at all. But so you'll see how the shields come out in a minute. This is where, guys, whenever I do things or make things, if it doesn't go to plan, I always leave it in just so you can see well what can go wrong. Because sometimes that's the best way you learn. If you do something and it goes wrong, then you know what not to do, or you try and work a way out to do it well better the next time. Yeah, let's say things don't always go to plan. So with the shields, obviously the plan was paint them all red, and then use some good old masking tape, some nice thin stuff. Although I really could have done with thinner than this because this, even though it's thin, it still made a rather large sort of cross. So yeah, so masking up the red areas, so I can then paint over the rest with whites, and then yeah, take the masking tape off, and you got some lovely, clean, fresh white crosses. So that was obviously the plan. I'll have to admit, I think whenever I've used this masking tape, I've never really had good experiences. But again, it's one of those things where sometimes you keep persevering, or you just kind of forget until it all goes wrong, and then you're like, oh yeah, this this is what happened last time. So yeah, paint everything white, let it dry, obviously, and then peel away the masking tape to hopefully reveal some nice, crisp, clean lines. But no, yeah, somehow it sort of bled underneath. I'm not too sure because I had pushed down the masking tape pretty good, but obviously clearly hadn't pushed it well down as much as I should have done. So when you pull it off, yeah, it looked like a bit of a dog's dinner. Again, this is why I think I don't always do this, and I normally paint sort of shields on the miniatures just because, yeah, you try and do something proper and it doesn't come out. So it was then a case of going over. So the first thing I did was went over with the red just to try and get the lines looking nice and straight and even. So I did that with all the shields, but then looked at them and then thought, well, the red cross looks too thick. Plus, again, I was looking at reference pictures online, and the actual crosses, they seem to be obviously a lot thinner than what I have done, but then they have this sort of like curved, wider edge at the end. I don't know if I've explained that very well, but you'll see what I mean in a minute. So that one you can see, yes, it's a thinner line, and then say the edges sort of curl out. So this this is me doing it freehand. Um, yeah, guys, you can get transfers for this. I've got some transfers, but I haven't got any Templar Knight transfers. If I had Templar Knight transfers, yeah, I would have done that. So I may well redo all these shields because I had a go. I tried my best. It still looks like a bit of a dog's dinner, but it's one of those things of it. It looks better than nothing done on the shield. Um, so you'll see them at the end. Yeah, it's not too bad a job. It's just not a great job. So I will be changing out and getting some proper transfers. Because transfers, you can get, there's a ton of transfers. When I do start getting some, I will leave links to where I get them. There is a name, I can't think what it is. It's Little Something, I think. Little Men is a company that does transfers. Again, it probably isn't that, but when I do find them, yeah, I'll let you know. So this is how they've come out. Yeah, say not too shabby, but obviously just love the fact that they are Templar Knights, but obviously looking far too clean. I mean, these guys are going to be sort of fighting in the mud, dirt, all the rest of it, and they're not exactly going to be going home every night, sticking them in the washing machine, tumble dryer, and then nice clean clothes the next day. Their clothes are going to get dirty, and they're certainly going to be an off-white most of the time. I think unless they're meeting with the Pope, and then they might have like a spare set of nice clothes. They're Sunday best as it is. So yeah, these are going to get a wash. So guys, if you don't like using washes, look away now, because when I put a wash on, it's more of a bath than a wash. Just because I like miniatures. So if you watched all my like some older videos, you'll know I like my miniatures to look like they've been in the war, been in the battles. So I like them to be dirty, grimy, beaten, bashed, and very weathered. So yeah, when it comes to washes, they get more of a bath. Sometimes if I do feel like there's too much in certain areas, then I will go over with like a sponge to try and get some off, or get a dry brush and try and sort of take away some of that wash. But generally, yeah, I bath them just because I like that look. Again, this is where we're all different. Some of you guys are going to go, oh yeah, far too much. Don't like the look of that, which is fine. You have your way of doing it. Just don't roast me in the comments and say, oh, he's ruined them, because I haven't. This is how I like them. And there we go. Yeah, love how he looks. I say he looks dirty. He doesn't look well. Yeah, he looks dirty. Uh, so with the shields, swords. Again, I want my miniatures to look like they've been in battle. So let's put a little bit of blood sort of stains on his sword there. So the best way I find of doing that, I'm using speed paint still. Put it on the sword, and then using your finger, rub it along, spread it out, and it sort of just softens the look and makes it look a bit more like it's dried blood. And yeah, then it's a case of doing that on all of them. I almost got my toothbrush and did the old splatter effect, put over their tunics, and I thought, no, that's too much. Let's leave the blood to just their swords and not basically all over them. And then basing, yeah, you'll see me do the same basing now for all the miniatures I'm going to do for Baron's War, because I want, again, this is why I've gone for this thinner base. So when I put these on the terrain that I've made, you won't really know they're on sort of bases. Well, that's the plan anyway. So that's why you can see some of the dirt that they're standing on, and then some areas are going to have, there's obviously this little fake grass that I've got. I mean, there's 4 different colours in here, as well as little bits of cork, just to sort of mix it all up. And yeah, it's as simple as putting a little bit of PVA glue on their base, and then sort of dipping them in the little box of, grass. But just to add a bit more realism, I've also got some tufts of grass. So I've got a variety. I've got, I think, 2 or 3 different types. I have started buying more because in the past I don't normally do much basing. So these ones, you can see, I've had these about 2-3 years, and obviously, hardly used them. But I am now using them and going through them at quite a rate. So I'm going to be buying loads more. So yeah, just little different tufts, different heights, and yeah, I love it. I love how they've come out, and I think that's pretty cool. So obviously, in the retinue, there is going to be a lot more than just these ones. I want to get some archers and, I say, some knights on horses for sure. But love how these look. Love how they've come out. Yeah. So the next video will be me painting the rest of the retinue from the box set, Baron's War. But I do need to sort of obviously make the other team as well. And I say I have been making or printing loads of terrain pieces. And again, these all get the sort of similar basing as the miniatures, just so when these go on the board, You can't tell. Well, obviously you can tell. You can see there's a bit of a gap at the bottom, but they do blend in reasonably well with the sort of terrain itself. Again, I will be showing the video of the terrain. I'm still building the 4 bits of board. So the board you can see here, it does still need some more bits to it, and I will be making some raised areas. So obviously the boards I've got are all nice and flat, but then you can make them up with different bits of terrain. I will be doing some lakes, rivers, bridges, all kinds of stuff basically. So yeah, so this is obviously the set I've got. Obviously this is what it looks like when I've sort of zoomed out. So as you can see, that backdrop is just basically it's my background on my screen. So these boards I'm making up, they've got magnets in them. So when you get them, they will just sort of see, hopefully, sort of hug each other and be nice and tight. Yeah, quite a bit of stuff going on in the background. And yeah, love it. So hooked on this. So the next few videos you see will be me making terrain and painting, well, more miniatures. So guys, check out all the links down below. Say the Halot X1, taking a big batter in the last couple of weeks, going strong. Awesome little printer if you're interested in getting a 3D printer. Guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave comments, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.